Yo, sometimes the ocean be scary. Most of the time, I would say that the ocean is beautiful. The ocean is one of my favorite places that exists. It's one of the main sources of inspiration in my life, is getting to surf and chase weather, and just like the adrenaline rush when there's a giant storm coming. I don't know if you guys can relate, but it's like all the drugs. All of them. All at once. I wouldn't know, I've never done drugs. But the thing about the ocean is you can have the absolute time of your life 1 second and then think that you're gonna fucking die the next second. I myself have been deeply terrified by the ocean in certain situations. But the rush that you get taming one of the most powerful forces of nature that can be tamed on the planet is unlike anything I could ever explain. There's really no words for it. It's like a lightning bolt struck the tip of my It's like flying. Like, you guys ever lucid dream? Oh man, I need to make more lucid dreaming videos. Shout out to the people that have seen those. I'm gonna make another one. Comment down below. You're putting yourself in the most critical position in one of the most powerful forces of nature on the planet. And you're trying to harness the power of this while like getting as deep in the vortex as you possibly can, and then come flying out. There's no other sport on the planet where you harness such a raw force of nature, like when you're riding a giant wave in the ocean. The only way that I've been able to describe riding a massive wave to people would be like skydiving into a tornado. It's that gnarly. I mean, obviously, you know, skydiving into a tornado, there's no way to open your parachute, but like, that's what it's like when a giant wave lands on top of you. I'm sure the beating that you get inside of a tornado probably isn't as bad as waves. Like, besides when you hit the ground. But yeah, anyways, I've yet to come up with a way to explain that makes more sense than that to someone. So every year, sometimes multiple times a year, we go to Mexico. And nearly every year, especially when the waves are big, we either witness or have to rescue someone from drowning. And that's the topic of today, saving people from drowning. What's crazy is anyone who has been chasing swell or riding big waves for any significant amount of time has either witnessed or participated in rescuing someone. I've actually lost count at how many times I've seen and or helped someone be rescued. Honestly, shout out to all the surfers out there. I feel like surfers account for thousands and thousands of lives saved. There's literally hundreds of videos on the internet showing surfers saving tourists from drowning. But not everyone is lucky enough to have an experienced waterman on scene, so it's very important that you be careful. And since we were speaking of Cabo, several tourists drown every single year in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, because they just don't treat the ocean seriously. Now, the hotel staff does the best they can to regulate the beaches and to keep people from going in the water when the waves get big, but people don't always listen. And as I said earlier, not everyone's lucky enough to have a waterman on the scene. And that's the first video we have today. A guy's just kiteboarding, rolling with his GoPro, when a family of 3 people got sucked out in a rip current and were caught in the waves and started panicking. One of the worst things that you can do in the ocean is panic. You must stay calm. So this guy's just vibing, you know, catching some waves, kite surfing, when he sees a family in distress. They seem to kind of be freaking out. They're getting smoked by some big waves. He realizes that it's a serious situation and he heads over to them. So he pulls up to the lady and she's immediately panicking, freaking out. And what she doesn't realize is when she grabs his handle, that's what's steering the kite. So essentially she's about to crash this dude's kite and then they're both going to not be in the best spot. It's just crazy. Like, I always watch these videos and they're so hard to watch because it's like people like this lady should not be in the water when the waves are like that, when it's that rough out. Like, you have to know your limits in the ocean, and if the waves are like bigger than you are, you probably shouldn't go past like waist deep water, maybe. And you know, that's not a rule that you can follow in Mexico, because you can be on dry sand 1 second, then a giant set of waves comes and sweeps you out to sea. So then the next person that he goes to save immediately grabs onto the handle again, and this is just tough to watch. Check it out. So, oh my gosh, this guy right here, hero, absolute hero, saved both of those people's lives most likely, put his own life on the line to save two complete strangers, so absolute hats off to that guy. What a legend. That was really, really tough to watch. The kid's pants are falling down too the whole time. Like, that was just, yeah, the kid didn't listen at all, but like he also, probably thought that he was gonna die. So it's hard to blame him, but people just really, like, that really shouldn't be out in conditions like that. And I'll never stop saying that. That reminds me of this time where a lady and her daughter tried to follow, I don't know, her husband or whatever out into the ocean. And what's crazy about when these situations unfold, all the ones that I've witnessed, we can foresee. We're like sitting on the beach like, no, does this lady really think she's going to go in the water? Like, oh, hey, you guys, there's a really big set of waves coming in. I can see them because I'm looking at the ocean. But for some reason, this lady that's about to go swimming is completely oblivious to the set of waves that are rolling in, and she just decides that she's gonna go for a swim with her daughter. And we're watching this happen, and the lady gets absolutely smoked with her daughter, and we're like, all right, well, like, typically when these things are unfolding, we're like looking around like, all right, are we the ones? Is this gonna be us? Are we saving this lady again? Oh, look, giant waves coming in. Oh, she's about to get smoked. Let's go get ready to save her. Our rescue mission. Roll the footage. It's kind of hard to tell right here, but if you look behind Sean running, you see this girl catch a smaller wave on the head, but it sent her straight to the sand face first. You don't see this on camera, but Sean and myself helped the girl get out of the water. The next thing that's captured is the third person, Andreas, our local skimboarder friend, out in the lineup trying to explain to this lady that she needs to stay calm, and he tries to tell her to go underwater. You can see him holding his nose. He says 3, 2, 1 and goes underwater, but at this point the lady is panicking. So the third wave hits her. I'm watching this from the shore, and to me it kind of looked like the lady was gonna wash up further than she had. So she ended up washing past Andreas, popping up with her eyes completely covered in sand, just barely, like almost no energy left, and I tried to grab her to prevent her from getting sucked out a third time. At this point, the biggest waves had already come through. We look out the back on the water, and then there doesn't appear to be any more large sets coming in. Just little like thigh to waist high waves. At which point her husband runs up and asks what happened. And he was really frantic. He seemed like he was angry. We didn't know if he was angry at us, so we just decided to walk away. It was a very, very scary and what could have been extremely dangerous situation. Shout out to Sean and Andreas for both getting there as quick as they could, because that lady could have been in a really bad spot if we didn't help her out. So just keep your eyes on the ocean, guys. You really just always have to watch the ocean, and when there's waves like this coming in, if you're not a strong swimmer, do not get in the water. Literally nearly the exact same thing happened the next day. Hot girls summer, they're just these girls are just trying to vibe. We're just sitting there like, giant waves coming in, massive waves. What's crazy about Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, is that the beaches are so steep. So as quickly as the water rushes up, it rushes back down. And there's actually certain parts of the beach where it doesn't rush back down. It rushes up and then bowls up. So when you see the beaches like this, you never want to be down here. You always want to be up on those berms, on the arches, because the water will drain off of those. If you catch yourself in the middle of a dip when a fat set's coming in, it goes from being dry sand to a chest-deep river sucking you straight out to sea. These girls didn't understand any of that. I don't think they understand any of what was going on, and they told us not to help them. When you be the judge whether or not you think these girls needed help. Roll the clip. As these two ladies were paying absolutely no attention to the ocean, and they got sucked down into the impact zone. We saw this, and we just hoped that they would get up and head up the beach. They did not. We realized that, and of course, ran over immediately. Me sprinting with my broken toe as well. I think something can be learned from every situation like this. As you can see here, this is a pretty decent sized wave. This lady is holding a mixed drink, making absolutely no effort to get away from this wave whatsoever. So right here, at this moment, all they had to do was get on their knees and grip the sand, stand up, literally do anything besides just let the ocean suck them back out. So the lady on the left plants her feet. That was the one that I was going to help because I figured, you know, there's enough of us. We can use teamwork. We can help both of these ladies. So the lady on the left actually makes a good decision, stops herself from sliding down. Lady on the right starts sliding down the berm straight into the impact zone again. So Sean goes to help her. He says, hey, you need to stand up. You need to stand up. We got to go up the beach. She didn't listen at all. So there's a little wave coming. Sean's like, here, let me help you up. She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. She gets hit by a small wave, and then, of course, her immediate priority is to make sure her hair is straight. But she's facing the wrong direction, and as this wave recedes, it's going to suck her back down, upside down and backwards. For some reason, she thinks it's funny. She's not listening to Sean at all. And at this point, Sean's like, I'm backing up. I'm not getting absolutely smoked by this wave too. So Sean backs up. This lady gets smoked again. Probably the hardest that she's gotten smoked the entire time. She gets washed up again. So at this point, we got to try to help. And she's just doing everything wrong. It's like she wants to get sucked out to sea and never return. Like, they're again trying to get her to stand up, trying to get her to stand up. Like, it's almost to the point where they're all just gonna have to like lift her up and just like drag her out of the water because she just will not listen. And she's like, again, going to fix her hair, going to wipe water out of her eyes when she just needs to get out of the impact zone. So her friend is yelling at her to come up the bank. They're all like, now 3 of them are picking her up and assisting her get up the bank. Sean is trying to make sure that this lady goes up the beach, and she's just like, I'm fine, guys, I'm fine. Like, kind of being rude after it seems like Sean literally almost single-handedly saved her life. To me, that's very frustrating because people like this don't realize that when they put themselves in very dangerous situations, you're also putting the people who are willing to help you in a dangerous situation. Like, if this lady got sucked out further and a massive set came in, and Sean went to help her, and she panicked, and then she tried to like use Sean to float and pulled Sean underwater. Like, it can get very dangerous very fast. So it's hard to have sympathy for this lady because she was so uncooperative and she made it so hard to help her, especially, you know, considering that she was rude and told them that she was fine when it seems like she would have been screwed if they weren't there. So I don't know. This is everything you shouldn't do if you get caught by big waves. I want to give a big shout out to Sean. He's actually a certified lifeguard. So I pretty much know anytime somebody's in trouble, if Sean's there, you know, he's like the best person that can be there at the time, being that he's a skimboarder and a lifeguard. He's a very strong swimmer. That still could have gone really bad really quickly. The amount of stories and the amount of footage of people getting rescued by surfers and skimboarders is endless. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, JoogSquad.com. Some of the most fly merch ever. I've had this shirt for like a couple months and it is still bad as hell. So love you guys. It's a vase.
Say rolling around, sitting on dubs, can't lie, I was high on drugs, cooling in my Escalade. Man, I'm paid, I got it made. Take me to your special place. Close your eyes, show me your face. I'm gonna piss on it.